Yeah.
And as you can see, these two shots are literally one before the other. So now that we're going to see the clip, you're going to see that the editing is a very strong cut between the same face in two different positions, pretty much the same size of the frame, into condition with a gigantic ellipse between them. So here the guy cut is in the hospital bed.
Wow.
Probably after he felt sick, he called the ambulance, started to the hospital, be saved by chance, and now he's in the bed. So I think it's what I'm saying. It's a bold approach to editing. You do basically what they tell you not to do, to cut from the same shot to the same shot with a very strong transition. And I think it works very well.
Okay.
In this case. So maybe we can see the cut.
Yeah, let's take a look now.
Ce cur ne-am făcut asta în 10 ore, numai o oră de pauză.
So yeah, I definitely noticed that cut was definitely very, very clear, distinct.
That's what they tell you not to do in film school.
Right.
Basically. But I think it works wonderful because it really, it shows you in one cut everything that's in between. There is an old man coughing, doing something that he should not be doing, cut. There is a man in the hospital bed, which obviously is a consequence of what he just did.
Right.
Or and probably of his life and age. So, this is a movie where a lot of the story in between has been cut away. Like it takes a glimpse over this character, but it's not trying to tell you everything about the backstory. You don't really know who these people are, and this is sort of a mystery that in some way works very well. Like this man is presented in a very specific way during the movie. And toward the end, it brings you. We'll see this shot later. We'll talk more about this, but it really brings you to believe that this man is potentially bad, and you don't really know what to expect from this guy. And then you realize that you have a complete change on the character, and that change is, I think, very interesting because it plays with the fact that the audience should never expect to know already what's going on.
Yeah.
Or to know already what the film is about, what the character is about.
Interesting.
I feel there's so many movies where you see the first 5 minutes and you kind of know already where you're going.
Right. This keeps you on edge.
Right. Instead, I love movies where you build characters and you leave that little unexpected into it, and these characters will at a certain point reveal other elements of themselves which are not expected, or not just for the taste of surprise. I'm not talking about oh my gosh, he's the murderer, or he's the son of the woman. We never expected that. Not that kind of story. But you have some like every people. You know people, and one day you realize that there are things that are not expected in them that you don't know. You meet a guy you think just is a regular person, and then you realize he does charity and nobody knows about.
Right. That's great examples.
That kind of thing. He has a second life that you don't know about.
Right.
And I feel like that's what was very interesting in this movie, and I think it's very interesting in pretty much every movie when that happens.
I love it. Right. In other words, character development that's kind of surprising, and not just like you said. I really like the way you said in the beginning, where you feel like after 5 minutes you already know exactly what's coming next. So it's it's leaving you not so interested.
Absolutely. I think movies are designed to keep that discovering pace over the entire film. That's what the movies I like, because I want it to be not surprised, as I said, for the sake of surprise, like in an horror movie when you need to be scared at every turn.
Right.
But I like when every single scene, that's also a technical approach. Like I like as much as possible to not repeat the shot. If my ideal conversation kind of sequence would not be filming everything from one character, then everything on the other character, and then just let the editor cut between the two. Mm-hmm. I feel that's great for television. That's great for many movies where comedies and so on. But when you try to make a movie that is more personal, I try to sit down with the director and think, so what shot we want on these lines, and I don't mind sometimes if one of the characters is not in the frame. I feel like it's more important to find the right shot for a specific part of the sequence, more than make sure that you always see the face of the actor speaking. It's good to have it, the actor speaking his face, but sometimes that certain shots require one actor to be off frame saying one line, because it's not important to see how this character say the line. It's more important to see the reaction on the other character.
Right.
I find a lot more interesting sometimes the way the face act more than the way we hear the lines said by the character. So I always like to try to find non-repetitive shots that you always go back to, because I always feel like even if I see the same shot in a different moment in the dialogue, I always have a little deja vu that I've seen that shot before. It's kind of a repetition.
Right.
So I like the idea of staging sequences so that pretty much every shot is sort of unique.
Yeah.
And I don't think in this movie, I don't want to say for sure. I probably have to see it again, but I don't believe we ever went back to a shot we already saw before.
Yeah, that's
unless it was tip. with a twist. The girl in front of behind the gate.
Yeah. For example. Right.
Like we kept longer shot, but we didn't cut back and forth.
Right. Wow, amazing. Right? That's an interesting tip. I really like that as a tool to keep the movie engaging and real, because in real life things are moving all the time and changing.
Of course. I feel like when you start to go back and forth from two shots, just because they're close up and reverse close up,
right?
It gets boring.
Yeah.
I prefer to eventually stay on one and not see the other one, and then when I cut on the other one on a specific line, that line really becomes important.
Yeah,
because it's that's the line when you cut on his face or her face, and I think that's really special. Not every movie can be shot like that, but in this case, we definitely shot the film with these approach in mind.
Right, genius.